This is recording. So everybody, welcome to Chem 21. So I apologize in advance if this video is not comprehensive enough. If I absolutely forget to mention something essential, I apologize. I'm trying to get this video recorded while both my children are napping. They are 3 and 2, so they're babies. That's I imagine the case with most of us these last couple of semesters, right? Stuck at home. I mean, if you're lucky enough to be able to be at home, otherwise you're out at work. But man, it's tough trying to organize a day around a couple of little kids, but also trying to get some teaching done. I apologize for the oversight in my part on not realizing that the course listing said to be announced. I was sure that I knew what day our class was on, and when I checked, obviously nobody knows when our class is. Traditionally, this class is held in the evening because I teach at Fresno State, and those are the only times I can teach at COS is in the evening. And it's usually done on a Monday, Wednesday, or a Tuesday, Thursday. So since we were a little behind on the Monday in terms of me getting out the right information to everybody, I figure this will be a Tuesday, Thursday class. That also works because my Monday, Wednesday is pretty full already with the classes I teach at Fresno State. So, of course, this entire class is going to be done asynchronously, meaning that you can watch the lectures, go over the slides, take the quizzes, take the exams, do the assignments, turn in the assignments, all without having to attend a Zoom meeting. Now, we will have some Zoom meetings, and the reason that I want to include at least some Zoom meetings is because this is a class that really does benefit from being able to ask questions. And so watching a lecture video, as comprehensive as I might try to make it, is not going to be sufficient. So I'm thinking, once a week, but we can do it for an hour. I was thinking more like a half hour, but because again, there's a lot of students that are not going to be able to make these times, and if it becomes this big sort of teaching event, then some students are going to feel left out, and it's obviously going to put them at a disadvantage. So it's not a teaching Zoom, it's a question Zoom. So if you have questions about how to draw a particular molecule in the homework program, that's a good question, and I'll be able to show you. Or to go over, get certain examples if you want more clarification or examples, and I'll record all of these meetings and post them so that anyone who doesn't attend can watch them. I encourage you to use discussion boards. We do have a discussion board set up. A student beat me to it. I was going to put the first discussion in there, asking you all about what kind of times work for classes. Sorry, for doing the Zoom meeting, and looks like I haven't even checked in to see what the most recent sort of responses are. But it looks like 6 works for a lot of people. So hey, we're doing it at 6 on Thursday. All right. But I encourage you to use these discussion boards to ask questions. If you don't want to just send me a message using the messenger function, or the email, emailing me at my COS email address, posting a discussion topic and then, allowing your classmates or me to reply is a good way to ask some questions. We can also just, have an ongoing, if you guys want to keep adding to this office hour Zoom meeting discussion, if there's a particular question or a topic that you want to see gone over during that meeting and you're not going to be able to attend to ask that particular question, that's a great place to post it. And I'll try to make sure to check there before and during these meetings so that I can address any of your guys' concerns if you're not able to express them directly. So that's the discussion board option. Now, I want to just go through the syllabus sort of quickly and then give you guys kind of the highlights. I know I posted something called to do for next week, and so these are just the kind of main things, and I'll hit all of these as we're going through sort of the syllabus. These are the most important things to kind of get started, but I want to give you an overview of the class. So first, the syllabus. So the syllabus is posted. There are no days and times. Of course, here's my email address if you need to contact me. Let's see here. I have some information that might be relevant to you if you need some technical support or some technology rentals. I think they've got, I don't know if rental is the right word, they can loan you laptops if you need laptops. There's internet hotspots that you can, excuse me, get access to. I encourage you to use these links to find out what is available to you if you need it. On the topic of that, it's important that you realize this, of course, is going to be completely virtual, and so you're going to have a reliable computer and a reliable internet connection. Phones and iPads and sort of I guess laptops are computers, but the mobile, technically mobile things like things that you could put in your pocket, I suppose, just iPhones and tablets don't always support the software that you're going to need. And so if you're going to need to have access to at least a regular, reliable, non-mobile type computer, and laptops, of course, are acceptable. But you're going to need that to be able to take the exams, and those are going to require the use of your webcam and microphone. So you have to have somewhat recent technology. Now, most people don't have any problem with that. I think most computers came with microphones and webcams, starting in the 2000s. So hopefully you have something. But if you don't, this is where you can start looking for some loaner materials. Now we can kind of skip over this stuff. Course description. I encourage you guys to read the syllabus for yourselves. Okay, don't take my skimming through it as a you've read it. Read the entire syllabus. Most of the questions you're going to have about this course will be answered by reading the syllabus. Okay, I imagine you've taken Chem 20 or Chem 1, and hopefully you did well in that class. Don't be under any illusions that this course is going to be like that course. This course is hard. Okay. Organic chemistry is hard. Biochemistry is hard. You had to take Gen Chem to get some of the language that we're going to be using and to get some of the knowledge like intermolecular forces and the shapes of molecules and their geometries. That might be the same thing. Whether something's ionic or not, whether something's polar or not, right? You had to take Gen Chem to learn those basics. We've got to teach you a few more basics. We're going to learn some organic chemistry. We'll talk about functional groups. We'll talk about naming and drawing structures and reactions and some of the most common reactions and that sort of thing. And then we'll have all the language we need to go into biochem, to understand some of the chemical processes that we're going to go over. And we're only going to go over a few. We're going to go over the sort of the highlights. Well, we won't talk that much about lipids or fats, or at least in the context of how they're metabolized or how they're made in the body. We might get to that stuff. But we're going to focus primarily on first just the building blocks. We're going to look at amino acids. We're going to look at DNA. We're going to look at proteins that come from amino acids. We're going to look at carbohydrates and food sources. And of course, we're going to look at lipids because they are what gives us the ability to have cells and to have enclosures within those cells, amongst other things that they do. And then we're going to take all of those building blocks and we'll talk about metabolism, we'll talk about DNA replication, we'll talk about protein synthesis. So it gets exciting, but we need to have the underlying concepts first. So this first 8 weeks of this course, the organic chemistry part of it, is going to be hard for a lot of you. It's a new language. If you thought learning Gen Chem, Chem 20 was a new language, this is a different language. And then maybe those of you that are more biologically inclined or interested in how all this ties together with us, as humans, then you'll appreciate the second half of the class probably a lot more. Just want to get that out of the way. This is a hard class. You're going to have to spend a lot of time focusing on it. Okay. Required texts. Rather than go over this little list, here is the lab manual, or at least the cover. But if you go on the COS bookstore, you can actually search for chemistry, Chem 20, and it'll pull up these 3 books. Well, actually, these are not 3 books. There's 3 options here. Here's the lab manual. You do need that. It's required. You can probably find this online and buy the experiments a la carte. I have been told in the past, because I've been teaching this for the last 4 or 5 years, every spring, some students are able to go and buy just the experiments, or they go and they just sort of download and print the experiments that they need. To show you how you can figure out what experiments we need, I think at the bottom of this syllabus, no, that's a lie. Yes, no. Let me go here. So if you go to the home page of Canvas, you will see the modules page. And this is basically set up week by week. So there's, of course, the welcome, where this video is going to be posted, where you will have found it and have clicked on it. As you will have seen, most of the posting that I do has to be done through YouTube. Canvas doesn't actually have enough memory in this shell to support loading videos in here. So all the content that I put in here is relatively small. The videos have to be hosted on YouTube, and then I embed the link here, or put in a shared link so that you can click on it, open in another window. So that's how all the lectures will be. As you scroll down, you'll see that I have mapped out all 18 or so weeks of this course. And for each week, as I'm building it, I have given myself a few reminders on what exactly we'll be doing that week. So I've included the chapter that we'll be going over. I've included the experiment that we'll be doing, if we're doing one. I've included exams and quizzes also. So, actually, that's not true. I didn't put quizzes on here. But we'll assume that every week we'll have a quiz, unless we're having like on a week like this with exams, we'll probably skip the quiz, and the quiz will just come up here. I've spent some time these last 2 days putting together weeks 2 and 3 so that you guys can see relatively what the pacing will look like. So next week is going to start, well, this week's sort of already starting it. We're going to have some lecture slides that I've posted. There's a video coming. The lecture slides, if you go into them, so I will have provided all of the lecture slides in advance. And then what you'll do is, I'm hoping you'll follow along with the lecture video, with your slides, and you'll annotate them. You'll write on them, and you'll, just like if we were in a real class. I mean, this is a real class, but an in-person class. So they're all PowerPoint. I did that so if you wanted to download them and rearrange the sizes of the tiles and print them or whatnot for your own notes. Yeah, PowerPoint files. If that doesn't work, let me know. I can upload a PDF as well. So the slides are here, but I recommend, like I said, having them when you're watching the video. You'll notice that there's a lot of information on here, but what is missing from here is a lot of what I'm going to be saying about these slides. So you really do need to watch the videos if you want to get the full benefit of these slides. Every week we'll have a quiz, unless there's an exam or a couple exams. We do have lab and lecture exams. They are different, but sometimes they'll end up on the same week. Quizzes are going to be all done using our Proctorio. So right now, let's talk about Proctorio. If you haven't already tried, and it looks like 6 of you have already successfully taken the quiz, I want you to click on the Secure Exam Proctorio link here in the menu bar. When you click on it, if I click on it, you'll see what happens. It's already going to tell me that everything's installed and working. But if you haven't done this yet, this is where you start. And it's going to help you install the plugin and get everything ready so that you can take exams and quizzes. Now this needs to be done using a Google Chrome browser. Google Chrome. That's where Proctorio works through. So if you're already having issues trying to get this to work, you're probably not using Google Chrome. So make sure you're on Google Chrome. So we'll have quizzes each week. There's already the next 3 weeks worth of quizzes up. So week 3 quiz I just finished this morning. You'll notice that there are weeks where we have lab experiments to do. What was my point here? Oh yeah, that was my point. So if you want to buy the lab manual for your experiments only and not just get the whole lab manual, scroll through the weeks and you'll see the names, or at least the experiment numbers, of all the experiments we're going to do. We'll do experiment 21, then we'll do experiment 22, we'll do experiment 23, 24, 29. We do go out of order: 25, 31, 27, 33, 35, 26. I think that's like 13, or maybe even 14 labs. Or maybe it's 10. I'm terrible at counting while I'm thinking. So anyways, that's was my point. So you can go through there and actually get just those labs and download just those labs, or you can buy the whole thing. I'm not sure why there's such a wide range. Oh, you can get a digital version for $50. You could rent the digital version. I mean, if it lets you print, do that. I mean, it must let you print, right? Here's why you would want to print. You may not need to print. You might be trying to do completely green. You're going to be uploading your finished labs. So I guess I'll jump in here to a lab. So for the next week's lab, we're going to be doing experiment 21. And since I know some of you won't have the lab book, I've included a PDF of that experiment. So if you click on the PDF, or if you just click on the actual experiment assignment, you'll get access to the PDF as well. You can download it so that you can print it if you need to write on it. But if you have a tablet or a way of writing like stylus or something on your screen, touch screen, you can actually just fill this out in your screen and then save it and upload it back to me. But this is the first lab here. Sorry, should have just clicked on this arrow. A lot of reading. Well, not a lot of reading. A lot of the background information that you need to do this lab. So a lot of information that you can read about the different functional groups. Here's your procedure, and then your data sheets. So these are what you're basically turning in at the end. You're going to fill out the answers to the pre-lab questions. You're going to write answers to any questions that you get. You'll have your tables. So as you're watching the video, you'll be filling out this table. Now all of our experiments are recorded already for us. Our lab tech, Andy, did a great job. If there's a situation where we have to make measurements, I'll probably give you those measurements in advance. I'll give you some mock data that you can work up. But for the most part, watching the video that Andy did, you'll be able to fill out these particular, so this particular thing, solubility. They want to know if NaCl is going to be soluble in cyclohexane. So you'd write yes or no here. You'd write yes or no here. You'd write if it's organic or inorganic here. So you're going to fill these tables out. Answer the questions, fill out the tables, and then you're going to submit this assignment. You're going to upload it. And to do that, let's see. So experiment 21, if you click on it here, I think I might already have it open. So you'll see that it comes with a video. Now I've also included a few other things in here, like the lab report requirements. So let's actually take a look at that. This is what I'm expecting you to include in all of your lab reports for them to be considered complete. Now we would normally have you do something called an aim-in method. So on the day of your lab, you would come into class and you would have your aim-in method done. It would be written, and I would check it off before your lab. So that's why this says before lab. I've included an example aim-in method. If you scroll down, this is for an experiment called measurements. And what an aim and method are is proof to me that you know what's going on. So the aim is just a sentence or two that sort of tells me, like the title of your experiment or what it is that you're going to do. The brief method, so aim and method, is a sort of bullet points procedure. And again, it's so that I know that you've gone through the process of reading the lab and writing out instructions. Um, Now, I won't make you, like if we were in the real lab, I would probably make you do this, but I would let you have your lab book so that you could still look at the real procedure, because the brief method may be missing some details. And the point is not to have you copy out the entire procedure. Okay, that's just busy work. I want just to see that you guys have read it and that you can summarize what you're going to be doing. So this is a, one paragraph, a couple of sentences and then one paragraph or so on a piece of paper that you're going to be including with your lab report. During the lab or during the video that you're going to watch, write everything down, use the calculation sheets that's included, use the data sheets that are included, and fill those out, and then answer the questions. And so your lab report, if it's complete, will have all four of these things. It'll have the aim, it'll have the method. Both of those, like I said, could be on just one piece of paper, like my example down here. And then you're going to have your data sheets, what I just showed you, in that other tab on my computer here, when I was showing you experiment 21 that I provided for you. Those are the data sheets. And then the calculations and questions, you're going to answer those. When all of that's done, you're going to submit it. Now, where do you submit it? This isn't letting me go into student view for some reason, but here in lab 21, or if we were right here in week 2, you would click right here on the lab 21 where it says January 25th is where it's due and how much it is. This little icon here is the assignments icon. When you click on that, it should open up a little submission link, something that says submit. And then that's where you'll be able to click and upload your file. Now, please check the file that you've uploaded. If you're uploading single sheets, try to save them as one full PDF. If you upload multiple files, sometimes the system will replace the first one you uploaded, or just check to make sure you didn't upload the same file 3 times, because if you lose any points, usually that's where it is. So each experiment, and we can probably take a look at the next experiment just to kind of show you. Oh, I was going to show you the model kit. I'll show you that right now too. Experiment 22, I've also included the PDF of that right here. And you can see same format. There's a video that you're going to watch, and then there's sheets that you're going to fill out. I didn't actually show you the video. Let me show you how to use these videos. I probably should have showed you on experiment 21 because I don't know if it's just the way, oops, I don't know if it's just the way I have my computer or if this will be on yours as well. But experiment 21 sort of looks small. So you kind of have to scroll a little bit. So I'm gonna like scroll it up. There we go. And you'll want to expand the video. So there's a little box here. That way you can watch it in browser. If you click on the video, it'll take you to YouTube, and if you watch it on YouTube, it won't have these questions. Now, you're not graded on any of this, but if you watch it in Canvas, you will get the benefit of some questions. And so let me show you. Imagine you're watching this, it's the video, that's Andy, by the way. She's showing you everything you're supposed to be seeing during the experiment. She's gonna, this is the, hey, does sodium chloride dissolve or not? When you get to this part of the video, it's going to ask you a multiple choice question. So you can test your own knowledge. You can test how much you're understanding at that point. It's a really good tool. I haven't figured out yet quite how to incorporate this into the grade. I know there's a way that I can assign it that it'll automatically work in the grade or into your grade book, but yeah, I haven't figured that out. So watch it in Canvas, and there will be some questions. You can see they're spaced out. This whole video is about 18 minutes long, just enough time to record everything and get everything sort of watched. Okay. Oh yeah, so there is a model kit. Now this first lab, Experiment 21 Alkanes, it's basically looking at models and then answering some questions about their geometries and stuff. And so I wanted to show you this virtual model kit. I did put a link in here. Where's the link? It's right up here under resources. And this virtual model kit has some really cool tools. I haven't played with everything, and one of my kids is already screaming, so I know I don't have time to show you everything. But one of the cool features here is that you can load names of molecules. And so we're going to be looking at hydrocarbons, things like pentane. And you can see here, here's a pentane molecule. And we're able to look at it. We're able to turn it around and sort of spin it, manipulate it. We can draw things like, oh man, I don't even know. Benzene. There we go. Here's benzene. So I encourage you, though Andy in the video does a good job of showing you the models, I encourage you to play around with this model kit. To enter the names or to draw them yourself, you can actually use a drawing tool. If you draw a structure and then load model, it will build that model. It's really neat. There's a lot of tools that you can do here. You can rotate bonds. Let me see if this will let me rotate a bond. It rotates around this bond. This is a fixed structure, so that was a bad example. Let's see. I haven't played with this very much. Now my other child is up and approaching. So excuse me while I have to tell her to go away. But anyways, this is a really cool tool. Here, maybe we'll do... Go back to your bed, please. Let's do rotate bond. Can rotate this bond. There we go. So you can see we can rotate things. Anyways, it's a neat tool. I encourage you guys to play with it. Back to the syllabus. So that is the experiments. That's how you can sort of pick which one you need, or you can buy the book. Now, these other two things here, these are the textbooks. If you want to buy a textbook that's the current edition, this is where you should do it. You can also get it directly from the publisher, from Pearson. You can buy access to their ebook. The two options here are minus access to Mastering Chemistry or with access to Mastering Chemistry. You want to get access to Mastering Chemistry one way or the other. You can do it by buying a new book that comes bundled with it. You can do it by buying an old book and just getting access online directly. For Mastering Chemistry, I've included some resources. There's this link here that you can click. Let's see, I'll click it. And it should take you to, or it should give you instructions. It's going to give you the instructions. Oh man, it's going to make me open it. It's going to give you the instructions for setting up a Pearson account. Now, one of the things that you need to, actually one of the easier things to do would probably be just to go into our main module page, homepage, and actually go down and click on My Lab and Mastering. So if you click on My Lab and Mastering, it'll take you to this page here. You need to do this in Canvas so that when you actually sign up, it will link you to the course that I've built. If you do this directly from the Pearson site without going through Canvas, it will not pair you to this course. So you got to make sure that you're doing that. If you click on the Open My Lab and Mastering, it will probably walk you through the process of asking you to either enter an access code or to purchase one. So I would start there if you just need an access code. If you're going to get a book as well, then you might as well just buy the book with the access code. But again, an older edition of the book, maybe the 5th edition or the even the 4th edition of the book, has a lot of the exact same material in it. You can often find those for free online or for a lot cheaper, and so maybe you only need to buy the access. I didn't mention the gradebook, but here's the gradebook. I kind of made my screen off to the side here so for some privacy purposes, but all of the things that we do will be located in the gradebook. Here's that first assignment. There's a couple of excused names. These are just people that I've added with an add code, so I know they want to be in the course. Everyone else I'm waiting for doesn't have anything showing. If there's something showing here, that means I need to grade it. You can see quizzes will be about 10% of the total grade, homework 10%, lab experiments 10%, lecture exams 60%, lab exams 10%. So lab in general 20%, lecture in general 70%, and then homework 10%. Homework is still important. Don't underestimate the importance of the homework. You do need to do that. All right, mastering chemistry, when you actually get into it, I'll show you what that looks like, or at least mine looks like this. It's a calendar view. I've got a lot of assignments already built and already set for you guys to work on. All the homework is already assigned. So if you go through the January calendar, February calendar, March calendar, you can see all of these assignments. Everything's set to be due on Sunday night. So you can also see this in the syllabus. If you go back to the syllabus, and you scroll all the way down to the bottom, everything I put into Canvas is going to show up down here in the course summary. So as I start to add in more things and more lab experiments and exams, all of that will show up here in this calendar. I think it's the same calendar actually that you see right here in the course syllabus. But in the homework, all of these are due on Sunday nights. One of the things that I just added are these dynamic study modules. I hope they show up. I'll continue to add them if they work. You guys will have to let me know. These dynamic study modules look like this, and they are just for practice, but they're a way of testing yourself. So you can see this molecule here if you think you know the name. You can click on it. You can leave it half filled if you're unsure. That way this question will come back. If you're really sure, you can double click it. If you're wrong, it'll show up again. If you're right, you'll get credit for it. So I'm just going to randomly click that, see what happens. I didn't even try. So if I'm wrong, don't say, and this guy's teaching us? Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I think I got it wrong, or otherwise it would have said I got it right. Whereas this one, let's get one right. And it'll tell you got it right. So these are dynamic study modules, and I like to assign them because they are really good practice. But if they don't work, I want you guys to try this one. If it doesn't work for you, or if you're unable to find it, let me know, and I won't assign the rest. But I have a dynamic study module for each chapter. So for like the alkene chapter, this one that I just showed you works really great. The alcohol chapter, I have a separate dynamic study module for that. And in fact, you can see my list here. I have dynamic study modules for amino acids, for proteins, for enzymes, for all different functional groups, you name it. So you guys let me know if that works. Now going back to the homework, if I click on one of these homework assignments, I don't know if you've ever done mastering chemistry before, but if I go in here to the student view, you guys can see, go away please. You guys can see the problems that are assigned, and be aware that these will dock you if you answer multiple choice questions incorrectly. And that should make sense. You can't just click on every answer in a multiple choice question until you get it right. So if it's a multiple choice question, it may dock you if you get it wrong. Every other question, though, you should be able to enter as many wrong answers as it takes to get to the right answer. So this one's asking for the condensed structural formula of methane. You'll learn that that's basically CH4, and I think it's gonna want me to put this as a 4 like that. So that's how these programs, how this program works for our purposes. And we're going to be writing structures. We're going to be drawing structures. Let me show you an example of that. This one wants us to draw a line angle structure for cyclopropane. So there's a couple ways we can do that with this, I believe. Let's see. Well, it doesn't give me any rings, but that's okay. I don't need any. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. Now I'm going to connect them, and actually that's 6 carbons, so that's cyclohexane. What was I supposed to draw? Cyclopentane. Cyclopropane. Oops, I was way wrong. Let's delete some of these guys. So cyclopropane would be 3 carbon atoms. And you don't know it yet because you haven't read the chapter, but that's 3 carbon atoms represented in line angle structure right here. Oops. See? Correct. So it'll take a little while to get used to this program, okay? To get used to the tools, but they're fun, and drawing structures, like I said, can be challenging at first, getting used to the tools, but it's a lot of practice. It's a lot of really good practice for when you're actually, trying to solve organic chemistry problems. Okay, so that's mastering chemistry. First assignment, I think, is due on the 25th or the 24th, due in 12 days. So let's get to the to do for next week. So get a lab manual, get a textbook. Those are, lab manual, I've got you covered for the next 2 weeks because you've got those PDFs I posted for you. The textbook, you need to get a textbook. I found a PDF online of the 6th edition. I can't tell you how to find that, but if you're savvy, you can find it for free online. Otherwise, buy it. It's worth it. You can probably sell it afterward or rent it. Get access to the mastering chemistry. You're watching the video, obviously, that I posted. I want you to explore Canvas. Try to find anything that you can. Questions, poke on all of these. Get comfortable with it. I did put a weekly Zoom meeting link here. So if you click on this, it should take you to our meeting once I have it open on Thursday. And you'll be able to click on that every week. Take the first quiz so that you can figure out if Proctorio is working for you. Let's see. Let's see. Again, read the syllabus. My objective here today was to give you all of the highlights, the main things. I hope that this has given you some questions, or at least started you thinking about things. Maybe on Thursday you'll have some questions, or you'll post something on the discussion board if I missed anything. Lecture attendances. I don't take attendance, but I am gonna not give credit for work not turned in and that sort of thing. Oh, about that. I guess there is more stuff I can talk about. As far as the experiments go, I will give you credit for them once you've turned them in, and then I'll post a key. So it's your responsibility to check the key to make sure that you're doing those questions properly. Okay. Exams and quizzes will be done through the Canvas using Proctorio, and for the most part will be multiple choice, but you may have to upload a drawn response here and there. Chapters that we're going over. There will be 4 exams. All the materials broken into 4 exams. There's no final exam. The final exam is just the 4th exam. Let's see. You'll have 2.5 hours to do it. You can only, well, read all of this. You guys need to read all of this stuff anyways. It's expected you're taking the exams on your own. If it turns out, or if I find out that there's people taking exams together, or if there's any kind of cheating, then of course that all gets reported to the school. Mastering chemistry. If you are asked for the mastering chemistry ID, here it is. But again, if you're logged in through Canvas and you are going to the My Chemistry Lab tab here in Canvas, it shouldn't ask you for that code. Or that ID. It should already know it. Homework is important. Okay, it's only worth 10%, but if you don't do it, you're not going to get the practice you need. There's a grading scale. We'll break down for grades, lab work, accommodations, some other information, other phone numbers that maybe you might find useful. Mesa Center also sometimes does tutoring, though I don't know what the situation is this semester. Let's see. I think that's about it, guys. At least as far as everything I can think of at the moment. So again, start working on getting a book, getting a lab manual, take this first quiz. It's one question. The question is, what do you like most about chemistry? So don't worry about. There's no wrong answers either. So, but take that quiz so that we can sort out if Proctorio is working for you or not. Um, I will get the lecture video posted soon, as well as the other lecture videos. Oh, yeah, lab exams. We're going to take lab exams as well. Like I said, quizzes too. The quizzes will tell you what they're about, um, or at least they should. So this quiz 3 is a chapter 13 quiz, so you'll know. The lab exams are just based on lab material. I haven't laid out what's on what yet. So for example, exam 1 here is probably going to be through chapter 14. Um, the lab exam 1 will probably have experiment 21 and 22 on it. You know, so because experiment 23 you'll have just turned in, so you won't have that much time to have gone over the answer key yet. So that's kind of how it'll be, but I'll figure those things out and start putting that content in. But if you guys have any other questions or any questions, make sure to email me or post them in the discussion. And I hope this was helpful. Let's see, I talked about homework, I talked about quizzes, I talked about the lab book, the lab manuals. I told you to look at the syllabus. That's important. Look at the syllabus, read the syllabus. Mm, that's all I can think of. I know there's something on the tip of my tongue that I was going to say. All right, well, if I remember, it'll be Thursday when I say it again. So for those, I'll post those meetings probably under a module that says past week meetings, and I'll post the access code because they're password protected. So the link and the access code, I'll post to those. If I forget to, just send me an email and remind me. All right, guys. Well, I guess that will do it. See you on Thursday.